Hey everyone, welcome back. So today I'm in Southwold to try and find the best fish and chips in Suffolk. Now some people say this is the best. On TripAdvisor it's had over 700 excellent reviews. The only downside is a lot of people say that the wait times to get in there are quite long, especially in the evening, where some people say that it takes around about 80 minutes before they got served. Yikes. So I thought I'd come down middle of the afternoon, middle of the week, to see how I get on. I love walking on this part of the prom in Southwold where all the beach huts are. Obviously in the winter they get moved over the other side. Looking over Southwold Pier, there's people in the sea. I know it's cloudy, but it's really warm today. So being in Southwold, obviously it's a little bit more posher than your average fish and chip shop. It's called the Little Fish and Chip Shop, and apparently they serve Prosecco with your fish and chips. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And here it is. It is pretty little, as you can see, but I'm glad that there's no queues. So now I'm just going to go in, if you follow me in. Wow, look how pretty it is in here. There's the champagne glasses. That is what we're going to get with our fish and chips. Can I get 2 cods,
Richard,
please, and some mushy peas?
we sell tartar sauce separately, it's all homemade.
Oh dear.
as well.
Oh, it's homemade, nice.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll get just 1 tartar sauce, please. Can I get a mini glass of Prosecco? So I'll wait for this to ping.
Yeah, that'll beep and vibrate and then come to the window.
So I've got my little buzzer here which will tell me when my food is ready. I've also got my champagne. Alright, it's Prosecco, but I'll be posh and say it's champagne. You'll notice that I've got 2 glasses because I'm not on my own. Because of all the wine.
This is where you're taking me on our date, is it?
Have you ever had Prosecco in a fish and chip shop before?
No.
So Southwold.
Usually it's a cup of tea, isn't it?
I normally have a cup of tea, to be fair. I thought, you know, when in Southwold you should have some Prosecco.
So we're going a bit upmarket today.
Let's have a clink.
Thank you, darling.
Try the Prosecco first. What do you think? Fruity, zesty. What's the difference between Cava and Prosecco?
Not much.
It's quite small in here, as you can see, but I love the theming though. Obviously it's best to take your chips and eat them on the seafront, but there is a bit of seating in here you can have.
I love the fact that it's a bar.
Yeah,
It's not like just normal table. It's really
Nice
quirky,
bar.
isn't it?
I tell you what, it's quite nice. You can actually sit in the window and watch the world go by whilst you eat your fish and chips. And they've got salt and vinegar on the side, as well as something to sort your fingers out as well. Well, actually, look, they've actually got some knife and forks here too, and a nice big old proper wooden fork. So I tell you what, the presentation straight away is pretty amazing. This beer batter looks good. As you know, I do love beer batter. Personally, I hate batter that's got no taste and it's a bit plain, so I'm very excited about this. So I bought some mushy peas extra. Now obviously they don't serve this on plates. Even though they do serve the Prosecco in glasses, they don't serve it on plates, but mushy peas inside there. In fact, that almost looks like a soup. Try that in a minute. Now I paid extra for this tartar sauce, and apparently this tartar sauce is homemade. Oh, that looks good. Looking forward to trying that. Sorry, might as well get drunk before you have fish and chips. What do you think of the presentation anyway?
I think it's really good. I specifically like the lemon and the garnish bit. It's only a tiny little touch, but it does make a difference, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to drizzle the lemon. People always moan that I add the tartar sauce on there, so I'll do that later.
I've never had tartar sauce from any form of chip shop, so...
Are you not a big fan of tartar sauce?
Yeah, but I only ever have it in, you know, those little sachets that you rip open.
It's very tight for space in here, so to do the crunch test, I'm going to have to kind of do this off camera. So crunch test. Now that was a good crunch actually, to be fair. Look at the colour of that batter. That is amazing. You can tell it's beer batter from the colour. That's strange because I thought as it being beer batter, it would have a slightly different taste. It's almost like a very light beer batter taste, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean by the lightness.
You was expecting a slightly different taste, weren't you?
I was expecting a proper full-on beer taste. But
I don't think you get a full beer taste.
no, but you know what I mean.
No,
like,
I know what you mean.
Because it's so dark and crunchy, I was expecting that, but it really
Maybe
is
you
a
should put
light
some
taste.
salt on it. Maybe you should put some salt on it. Pour some Sarson's vinegar. Tastes a bit better now.
again.
Okay, let's have a look at the fish. Now this actually does look, I'll do the flake test to see how easy it breaks away in my hand. Look at that. Look at those beautiful flakes. Good job you got this, I need this. I hate when fish personally and cod is dry. That was actually quite moist, like that.
It is really nice and soft. You can tell it's ultra fresh.
But you know what? It's actually weird to have Prosecco with fish and chips. It does not go well. The taste with the, even though I love Prosecco, the taste with the fish and chips does not work personally. Yes, it's posh to do it and it's enjoyable and you feel like you're rich as you're doing it, but it makes it taste not as great. I still prefer a cup of tea. The chips are pretty good. Some of them are a little bit pale. Not too crunchy though. Oh wow. I think it must be new potatoes. It has that new potato taste. Really nice. Could be a bit crunchier though.
I don't know about you, but with me, I always find that if I'm having fish and chips, if I start eating the fish before the chips, then the chips always taste a little bit more dull.
You what?
I don't know what it is with me, but I just find if I start eating the fish before the chips just become dull. It's nice. The chip itself is quite hard.
The chip connoisseur. I tell you what though, it's super hot in here. Just giving the mushy peas a bit of a stir. Look at that. Oh wow. I've yet to find some mushy peas that taste good. They've been salted, they are creamy. These, wow, these are amazing. You've got to try this, Gabby.
No hard shells, a slight taste of pepper, which is always a winner.
Yeah, there's definitely salt and pepper in there. It's really creamy as well.
I like them, I'm keeping these.
So this tartar sauce is homemade. I know you shouldn't eat tartar sauce like this,
Does
it's
it
quite
have a
strong.
kick?
It has certainly a kick. It needs it. I'm going to spread it all on my fish.
Oh, that looks good.
Now let's try it. Let's see what it tastes like now. You see, the thing is, if you just try fish on its own, it might be a little bit plain. That's why you've got to have the condiments, salt and vinegar. Obviously, if you like a curry sauce. But this homemade tartar sauce is really creamy. Oh, wow. Just shoving my face for this. It's so good. So before we put the tartar sauce on this, and the salt and vinegar, it was a little bit average, but now really stepped it up. You're either supposed to basically put it on the fish or literally dip your fish in the tartar sauce.
I could do with a bit more fish. I feel like my fish is quite small. I usually like a bigger bit. Even when you buy a small one, it's usually a bit bigger than this, so I'm a bit gutted about the size. That does taste amazing on the batter. Because
the portions of chips are quite big, I decided to go for one portion of chips and then 2 fish. It actually works out a little bit cheaper because otherwise the portions of chips are massive.
I would probably say that I could have done with full chips because the fish is smaller than I would like.
Okay, so to sum up the little fish and chip shop, I actually really enjoyed that, and by far the best mushy peas I have ever had, period. They tasted amazing, creamy. Obviously the salt and pepper, which I always say needs to be added when you have got mushy peas. When you just leave them plain, for me, they don't taste very good. So let's talk about the fish. You can't complain about the fish. It was flaky, it was soft, and it wasn't dry. Now the batter for me, when I first tasted it, was a little bit plain, and I think we both thought the same thing. We looked at it and was expecting to get a slightly different taste than we did.
We were expecting a bit of a stronger flavour.
Now let's talk about the chips. They actually got better as I ate them. The first few chips that I had were a little bit hard, not overly that crunchy, but as I had a few more, I found some crunchy ones, and actually they tasted really nice, and I'm sure it was new potatoes.
Found that they tasted quite oven chippy, even though they weren't. I just got that vibe. Depends on the length of time you cook them for and at what temperatures.
The homemade tartar sauce was a definite winner for me. When I lathered that all over my fish, even though some people moan at me for doing that, that was totally amazing.
Yeah, I have to agree, never had tartar sauce quite like that.
And even on the box singlet, you see the little fish and chip shop. I think that's quite a nice
attention
touch,
to
actually.
detail.
Yeah. Little drawing.
So the fish was $7.95.
That's a bit pricey for fish.
And a portion of chips was $2.95.
The Prosecco with the fish and chips, it didn't go, but when you're in Southwold, I guess you've got to be a little bit
could
posh
go.
and have that, yeah.
Vibe in there with the bar, as they had like a bar surrounding for you to sit at. I really like that, but me personally, I like to sit at a table and chair when I'm eating my food. I need to sit more in comfort with my feet on the ground.
So at the minute, my favourite fish and chip shop that I've been to currently in the UK is the Yorkshire Fisheries in Blackpool, but this comes a very close second. I would have to give this a 9 out of 10.
Would you come again?
Yes, I would. In fact, I'm going to go now to get seconds. Don't forget, if you want to see more fish and chip shop reviews from around the country, make sure you click here and here. Sorry, Gabby. Do hit that subscribe button, click the notification bell, and I'll see you next time.